so nice. It's so cool here. How beautiful the greenery is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I like this place more than the busy and noisy city.
The air is so pure and cool to breathe.
It's so calm and peaceful here.
I am enjoying it.
The plants and trees are so important for us.
Hey, I remember the slogan of Chipko movement.
Yeah, we all do.
What do the forests bear?
Soil, water and pure air.
I, though given a chance, would stay back here itself for rest of my life.
Look, Uncle is there.
Let's go and meet him.
Yes, let's go.
Meet him.
Hi, how are you all?
Hi, Uncle.
So it's something nice to see you all here.
How are you, Uncle?
I'm fine. How are you?
We too are fine.
How do you find this place, Uncle?
I love it. It's wonderful. It's awesome. What about you all?
We too love this place.
Greenery adds life and color to our lives. We cannot dream of life without trees.
Then why are we cutting down trees in towns and cities mercilessly?
To provide basic amenities, I mean facilities, to ease up our life in cities, we are axing the trees, which is wrong as wrong can be.
Our lives without trees would be miserable, isn't it?
Very much true. Do you know what has led to the changes in the environment?
Yeah, I know. It's urbanization, development.
Demand for more and more wood.
There's a lot of pressure on the environment because of increasing population.
Man's needs are increasing day by day and is getting greedier. It's rightly said, there's enough for man's need, not for his greed.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
Hey guys, I have read a poem, Let Me Live. Shall I recite it?
That's a wonderful idea.
Once I was a tiny seed. Mother Nature cared my need.
Hey, Nimshamba, it sounds good. Hey guys, why don't we enact it?
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Uncle, I'm gonna recite the poem and they will enact it.
That's wonderful idea. Go ahead.
Hey guys, let's do it. Let me live. Once I was a tiny seed. Mother Nature cared my need. I grew up as a shady tree. Now my age is 23. I have branches so many. For children to play is company. I feed worms with tiny figs. I make homes with tiny things. I am foresting hearths. Also for the poor shepherds. People breathe the air I give. Why don't people let me live? Why don't people let me live?
Amazing. Wow. That was a wonderful performance. But kids, I've got a few questions to ask to you regarding the poem which you have enacted. Would you like to answer?
Sure, Uncle.
Who does I refer to in this poem?
I refer to the tree.
That's right, it refers to tree. How is the speaker a source of joy to children?
The speaker is a source of joy to the children because it provides company to play.
Wonderful. Name any two creatures that find comfort with the speaker. Yes.
Worms and herds of sheep are the two creatures which find comfort from the tree.
That's right. What do you think would happen to the speaker at the end? Yes?
At the end, the speaker would be axed.
That's right. Hey, you all have done a wonderful job. I think you deserve a very big round of applause. Did you look at this place completely?
No, uncle.
Would you like to have a look?
Yes, uncle.
Shall we go for a walk?
Yes, uncle.
Then on your toes.
Yay!
Okay, let's move. Recently I had read a poem which was similar to that of the poem which you had enacted over there. Would you like to listen to it?
Yes, uncle.
It's a very beautiful poem and a thought-provoking one. It's about indiscriminate act of cutting down the trees and its illful effect. Let me read it to you. This poem is written by Clifford Henry Diamond. Shall I recite the poem, The Axe in the Wood? I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, stuck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remembered how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than a growing tree. But I saw the death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy of wood. Let me give you a brief note on Clifford Henry Diamond. He is a British poet, a critic, and a journalist, and an editor. He loved to write on countryside. His popular works include First Day, Straight or Curly, Thomas Hood Selected Poems, Experiences and Places, The Railway Game, and early autobiography, The Axe in the Wood. Kids, how did you find the poem?
It was thought-provoking. It was quite interesting.
Would you like to memorize it?
Yes, uncle.
How many minutes you need to memorize it?
10 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. Let me see how you memorize and come and present it. Okay?
Yes, uncle.
I've got few copies of it. I'll give it to you. You can take it and memorize it. Okay?
Okay, uncle.
Come forward. Yeah, I think you memorized the poem. Kids, did you memorize the poem?
Yes, uncle.
Okay, can I have the sheets back?
Yes, uncle.
Now, I want the recitation in a different way altogether. First, this group will start with the first paragraph, and then this group will start with the second paragraph. We'll go ahead with the second paragraph, and it will continue like that. Let's see how you do it.
Okay, uncle.
Shall we start?
Yes, uncle.
Yeah, you can start now. 1, 2, 3, start.
I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, struck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than a growing tree. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy of wood.
That was wonderful, kids. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you, Uncle.
Children, you had recited the poem really well. Did you understand the poem?
Yes, Uncle.
Shall we ask you a few questions?
Yes, Uncle.
Are you willing to answer?
Yes, Uncle.
Then why did the poet stop one day?
Uncle
Yes.
The poet remembered the poise and rhythmic way of axing the tree.
Okay. How was the axe? Okay, Path.
The axe was bright, sharp, and glittering.
Bright, sharp, and glittering. No, how was the tree? Was it old or young?
Uncle. The tree was old.
The tree was old. Which word in the poem says that?
The word centuries in the poem says that the tree was old.
Yes, so the tree grown strong through many
Centuries.
When the man axed the tree deep, what happened?
When the tree was struck deep with the axe, the yellow chips went spinning in the air.
That's right, the yellow chips
Went spinning in the air.
Stanza 2, what does the poet remember?
Uncle me.
Yes?
The poet remembered the poise and rhythmic way of axing the tree.
That's good. The poise and rhythmic way of axing the tree was much pleasing to the poet. Right? Did the poet really like the sight of killing the tree?
Uncle me.
Yes?
The poet has used an irony. He really does not mean that he liked the sight.
That's wonderful. You have understood the poem really well. Azu, tell me, what made the people watch the felling of the tree?
The bright axe struck deep in the wood made the people watch the felling of the tree.
Very good. Bharat, can you tell me which word in the poem means fame?
Glory in the poem means fame.
Very good. Dashit, who gains the glory, the tree or the axe?
The glory goes to the axe.
That's right. Then we go for, I know the answer to the chance reproach. What do you mean by chance reproach, Bhumika?
Chance reproach means possible blames.
Possible blames. But some justify the act of cutting down the tree. Can you tell me in what way people go about justifying the act of cutting the tree?
The possible answers that people give to justify the cutting of the tree is that the tree was old and dangerous and it had more good in it than a growing tree.
But I saw death cut down 1,000 men. What do you comprehend by this verse?
The poet saw a man cutting down the tree. In each cut of the tree, the poet saw death of 1,000 men, which means that a tree would help in the survival of 1,000 men.
What do you mean by legacy?
The word legacy means handed over by predecessors or gift left by the will.
What does the poet mean by the lovely legacy of wood?
Lovely legacy of wood means that our ancestors never axed the tree, they left it over for us and for our future generation so that we do not suffer.
What is the central idea of the poem?
Central idea of the poem is we should not axe the tree as it is important for our survival.
Do you think the poet felt sad? Which line or verse do you think tells you that?
I think the poet felt very sad. The line I saw death cut down 1,000 men says that the poet felt very sad.
Why the title, The Axe in the Wood, and not The Axe and the Wood?
The line axe in the wood means felling of the trees or cutting of the forests, and axe and the wood means two different entities. Hence, the title axe in the wood holds good.
Children, it's time for dramatization. Do you want to dramatize the poem The Axe in the Wood?
Yes, Uncle!
Uncle, I'll recite the poem.
That's good.
Uncle, I want to become the woodcutter.
Oh, fine.
Uncle, I'll be the poet. Clifford Henry Diamond.
You want to be the poet? That's fine.
Uncle, we are going to be the trees.
Wonderful.
Uncle, we'll be the villagers.
I'm very much curious to see how you dramatize. All the best, kids.
Thank you, Uncle!
I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, struck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach.
How old the tree was,
And how dangerous.
how it might fall,
Oh, timber in a stack.
Had more good in it than a growing tree. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy of wood.
But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in the tall, lovely legacy of wood.
But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in the tall, lovely legacy of wood. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in the tall, lovely legacy of wood. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in the tall, lovely legacy of wood.
Excellent. Amazing. Wonderful. Children, let's have fun through an activity, shall we?
Yes, Uncle!
Okay, let's move aside and sit. Children, I'll give you an activity now. In this activity, you'll get the poem, wherein each and every stanza, you'll find the lines are jumbled. Now, you are going to read the poem in the right order. Would you like to try this activity?
Yes, Uncle!
So, I've got some material with me, I'm going to give it to you. Okay, share it. Scratch your head.
What is this, Uncle?
Wow, that's a challenge. That's a challenge what you got. You need to arrange it in the order.
Oh, it's
Try to do it.
easy.
Yeah, got it, Uncle.
Yeah.
Easy, Uncle.
Okay, would you like to recite?
Yes, Uncle!
Then start. I'll give the counts. 1, 2, 3, start.
I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, struck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as a bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than a growing tree. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in the tall, lovely legacy of wood.
Children, that was wonderful. You have done a wonderful act of putting the entire poem in the right order. You deserve a very big round of applause.
Thank you, Uncle!
Okay, children, Now we are going to look into the most interesting part of the literature, the figure of speech. Do you know what is figure of speech?
No, uncle.
No, you're not aware of it?
No, uncle.
Okay, let me tell you what is figure of speech. Figure of speech is a form of an expression which is usually away from the ordinary ways of expressing things. It adds effect to the literature itself and makes the literature more interesting to read. Now in this poem we have got some beautiful figure of speech used. Now what I'll do is I'll give some examples and we'll try to identify the figure of speech. Will you identify it?
Yes, uncle.
Now let me give a simple example. Now a student walks in late to the class and teacher goes about saying, "How is that you have come so early to the class?" Does it mean what the teacher is trying to say?
No, uncle.
Then what does it mean?
It's irony, opposite.
Yeah, it's totally opposite of it. I'll give you one more situation. A student in the school has not polished his shoes for a long time. And now the PE teacher comes and sees and says, "Oh, it appears that you have polished your shoes very well." So what does it mean over here?
It means opposite.
Yeah, it means the opposite. The child has not polished the shoes. Such kind of an expression is called as irony.
Irony are the expressions which mean the opposites of what they appear to mean.
That's right. Did you understand what is irony?
Yes, uncle.
There is another figure of speech used in this poem. That's called personification. Can anyone tell me what is personification?
Uncle, personification is giving life to a non-living thing.
Now, when you read this poem, how many lines were there?
14.
Can you tell me what is a poem called which has got 14?
Uncle.
Sonnet.
That's right. It's called
Sonnet.
Okay, what is a sonnet?
Uncle.
The poem of 40 lines is called as sonnet, and in which there is a rhyming scheme.
But in this poem, do you find there's a rhyming words at the end of each line? So there's no rhyming words in this poem. But this is a sonnet with 14 lines. Children, you have experienced the axe in the wood. Now you have developed the concern for the tree which has been axed. I want you to read one more poem written by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us. This poem will make you understand how blind we are towards the nature and its treasure. Okay children, I want to give you a small task. Would you like to do it?
Yes, uncle.
I'm going to ask you to pen down a poem.
Exciting.
You can also use figure of speech.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
then next Sunday we'll meet here. And
yes,
I want to listen to your poems.
Yes, uncle.
That's wonderful. I think it's getting late and you need to get back home.
Yes, uncle.
Okay, bye children. Have a nice weekend.
Bye, uncle. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy of wood.
Children, you experienced the poem, The Axe in the Wood, written by Clifford Henry Diamond. Hope you would have enjoyed it. There's another poem similar to this, written by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us. And it's a wonderful poem. I want you to read it and capture its substance. Children, I would like to give you a small task. I want you to pen down a poem using the figure of speech. You can use personification, metaphor, simile, irony, etc. This will enhance your presentation. So all the best. Go ahead, pen down the poem.